Okay. Now you've seen the whole video. Now we're going to show the BBC version. This is in the West Bank, by the way.
Janine.
هون آمن هون آمن هون دير بالك السيارة ما تخليه في الوجه.
So that's the diplomats kind of ducking into the cars to get out of the way of the warning shots, as you so correctly said.
Warning shots. Well, you have to. Did you show the headline? I think it's worth just seeing it in print.
It says Israel fires warning shots near diplomats in the West Bank.
It's a hell of a way to say shot at international diplomats.
The
police shot warning shots near the suspect and then shot him?
Do you think they'd provide Hamas the same grace if Hamas fired near?
So yeah, this is just another example with Auntie Eleanor about critical media literacy and recognizing how fakaked it is to phrase something that way when you literally have the IDF shooting at international diplomats. Again, these are international diplomats. If you go back to your favorite page, the Instagram, because you can see the responses from some of these foreign ministries. For instance, Italy summoned Israel's ambassador in Rome for clarification.
Could you clarify the time you shot at us?
Yeah, saying, quote, the threats against diplomats are unacceptable, end quote. Canada.
And summoned to global affairs. We expect a immediate explanation of what happened. It's totally unacceptable. It's some of many things that are totally unacceptable that's going on in the region.
Oh, there's something else in the region that is unacceptable.
I like how you phrase that, like unacceptable things happening in the region. It's like if one house on your block was just massacring people in the basement, and you're like, there are some unfortunate things happening on this block in general.
In general, there's something. So there's one guy who hasn't trimmed his lawn recently. There's another guy who's murdered 17 people. But just in general, there's some bad things on this block.
I don't want to name names.
Yeah, and that was Canada's new Prime Minister, former head of the Bank of Canada.
Turkey, a foreign ministry said, quote, this attack, which endangered the lives of diplomats, is yet another demonstration of Israel's systematic disregard for international law and human rights, end quote, which is a hell of a thing coming from Turkey.
Warning shots do not endanger lives. They're intended to be helpful, Eleanor.
I agree. France foreign minister Jean-Noël Barrot said that Israel's ambassador to France would be summoned. So they're summoning their ambassador.
There's a lot of summoning.
There's a lot of summoning.
The sponsor for this video is Chapter, a free Medicare navigation and advice service. So if you're 65 or older, or your parents are, Chapter can really help you understand the 24,000 plans. Yes, there's 24,000 with Medicare, Medicare Advantage, and Medigap. 96% of people who use Chapter return to use it the next year. Seniors have historically saved over $1,000 a year using Chapter. Also, Chapter has a near perfect reviews online by those who have used it, and it's got an A+ with the Better Business Bureau, and it's free. So check out if Chapter's right for you or your parents. You can either go to askchapter.org/camp, my last name, or call 757-349-8232. All this info will also be in the description of this video. And did I mention it's free?
Spain, which is already doing good work with regards to Israel, also summoned the head of the Israeli embassy in Madrid. So the question is, of course, what does the summoning even matter? At this point, not much. And I think the fact that also, the way that the BBC is spinning it, you don't see this on really mainstream, corporate outlets here in the United States. Oh, and the New York Times, the headline they ran with was Israeli soldiers fire into the air. And it's like, well, don't all shots travel through air? What atmosphere are you in? Well, also, what a way to put it.
But would you imagine if Hamas shot at diplomats do you think anyone would be like, Hamas fired into the air in the general vicinity? No, they'd be like, Hamas tried to kill diplomats. That's what it would say.
And here's the thing. I'm not saying we should cover this because I think the lives of diplomats matter any more than anybody else, like than the unhoused person around the corner.
2% more, maybe?
No.
Okay.
Oftentimes 2% less, but that's a separate political conversation. The point is that this is considered, like when you shoot at diplomats, that is considered an act of war. So technically Israel just like declared war on Turkey, China, France, Spain, Canada, all at once.
Could you imagine if they had some sort of delineation where they're like, okay, if you shoot at diplomats, if it's within a foot of them, that's fine. That's like a hello. It's a rough hello. But if you get closer than that, then no, it doesn't matter. You shot at diplomats.
Yeah. So this is just another one of those examples where, and I have to recommend my own show for a second. I spoke to Armenian human rights lawyer Carnegie Kirkonian on the Project Censored show this week.
Wow, you had that name memorized.
Well, he's a great guy. And he talked about how when someone with genocidal intent experiences the impunity with which the world treats Israel, or indeed Azerbaijan with regards to Armenia, they become not only like they don't just take it as like, oh, okay. They take it as an acceptance and a support for what they're doing. So they don't just continue with what they were doing, they ramp it up. So this idea that like Israel continues to do such terroristic acts on top of itself, becoming more sadistic, even when you didn't think it was possible, and then doing things like this that really show a complete lack of understanding or care, rather, of international law and diplomacy, because that's exactly what the world has shown them. The world has shown them all of these countries listed here. I mean, Spain a little bit less.
You notice which one's missing on there?
What? Oh,
United States.
I mean, there are lots of countries.
Well, I mean, of the main ones that people talk about, the United States not condemning the shooting at diplomats. No.
So yeah, like Ireland has spoken out against Israel, but like overwhelmingly, the world has said, yep, carry on. So then why would Israel care that it's shooting at diplomats? Why would that make a shit bit of difference? Because the world has shown no interest in trying to stop Israel. So it becomes, when you give people with genocidal intent this kind of impunity, don't be surprised when they take advantage of that impunity. And so I think that is a really important thing to bring up. It's a really important thing to bring up how this is being spun in the media, how it's not being discussed in the media.
Yeah, and I think it just speaks to how Israel totally thinks they can do anything. I mean, and the fact that they've been able to perpetrate genocide for 18 months and can get away with it is the sign to them that they're free to do anything, fire at diplomats. And of course, why would they not? Why do they want to scare diplomats? Why do they the West Bank? Because they don't want any coverage, any news, any understanding of what the situation is in these regions. It's the same reason they're assassinating journalists on a daily basis. They killed 5 just the other day, in one day. In Gaza. And so it's very similar reasoning behind it. It is, we do not want people who can get the word out, people who might have some power to stop us. We don't want them here. So let's scare them. Let's get them out of here.